Pastor Herson Gonzalez back on Hope TV, brand new episode where today we're going to be talking a little about everything. We're going to be talking a little bit about our Valentine's Day plans. Our wives can't watch. And then we're going to be talking about something else called Discipleship. Weird mix, I know, but I think it's going to be a fun show. I'm excited today to have once again with me my friends, of course, starting all the way over there. You know him as the Eliud Meister, the Mapinator. There he is.
The Mapinator.
Why do they call you the Mapinator?
Because when somebody's lost, they call me.
Right. They don't call their GPS? They
No, I am the GPS.
He said he's 99.9 more reliable than GPS.
This was before the GPS.
This is before GPS, and with GPS too. They don't understand. They can't read GPS. They call me.
Right.
The Mapinator.
Mapinator. You lost, I'll get you home.
Hey, how did work go? Did you did your first day solo?
Yes.
Did you get lost?
Yes. No, I didn't get lost.
Yeah, you said yeah.
I didn't. Actually, I used the GPS.
I thought you were the Mapinator.
But I used the GPS anyway.
But he knows how to read it. That's the thing.
The Mapinator needs how to learn how to get there first in order to be the Mapinator. So you got to go there in order to learn how to get there. That's good. See, that's good.
You had a little dry spell, no job. It was tough.
Oh,
How tough was that?
Since February to January.
Man.
That's
Real
a
tough.
tough one.
I think it's tough. I think because, like you send things through the computer, and now, like when they called me for this job, I was like explaining to him. He was like, you know how many
Applicants?
resumes I get? He said it's hard to go through all of them. So that's where it all gets messed up. See, but if you call me in person, I walk into that office, you will hire me. That's the bottom line. That's right. You will hire me.
But you know what? The thing is that you never gave up.
No, I didn't give up. I didn't give up. I didn't give up. It was a lot of praying too, because definitely a lot of praying. Because I used to even tell God, "You're my provider." You know, you're my comforter. You're my provider. I'm serious. I was praying like that. I said, God, I need a job.
Okay, God. God was like, okay,
But
I'm
I
the
was
provider.
also praying.
Provider, I guess.
Okay.
But I was also
I shall
praying.
do.
I was also praying to
All
God
right.
that whatever. It sounded like. But I was also praying to God, you know, that He would give me a job where I would make sure that I got to church and spend time in church.
Why is that important? Somebody watching might say, "What does he care about going to church?"
Because that's where I go. That's where I go, and God just takes up all my burdens, all my problems. When I just go and just go to church and just fall at His feet, God takes all that away from me. All the stuff that you've been going through during the day or the week, when you get there, it's just such a peaceful moment that you just let God just comfort you, and you worship, and all that stuff just goes out of your mind.
Time's up. Very good job. It's a 2-minute answer. That's it. You passed 2 minutes. You kept going too long.
All right. Well, I'm sorry. You know, it's a question.
We
Sorry.
have other people to introduce. Let's introduce this guy. Go
Let's
ahead.
ask. Hey, Gabe. Gabriel.
Hi, I'm Gabe.
Minister Gabriel.
Minister Gabe.
Huh? Huh?
Hi again.
Hi again.
Hi, Eliud.
Hey.
How you doing?
Oh. Hey. Oh. Hey. Oh.
Wow, that's the best conversation
Hey,
I've
oh.
ever
Hey,
heard.
oh.
Hey. Hey. Well, he was yelling at me. I was trying to tell him my story, and he was like, I felt like I was being disrespected, if you ask me. Either that or they didn't want to listen to me.
Gabe, thanks for being with us today.
You're welcome.
Thanks for sitting there next to him.
Yes. It's usually where I sit all the time.
Remember the time when we were driving? You had just met him.
I had just met Eliud, and he wanted to talk to me, and he would tell me, listen.
Where were we?
We were actually
little U-Haul.
We were in a U-Haul, and I'm in the middle of these two guys, just like this. He's driving, he's on the side, and you know we're moving someone.
I've been hanging out with him already,
Yeah.
so I kind of knew.
So I'm just getting to know my brother Eliud, and he says, listen,
No,
and I'm like,
he says stuff, and he keeps going.
listen, and he kept saying, listen. I'm like, I'm listening.
I got out of that habit, though.
And
I got out of it.
but ever since that, I've been listening to him.
There you go.
And
I had to make my point.
Continue listening to him.
So this is a lesson learned right here.
Listen.
If you don't listen to me, I'm going to make you listen to me.
Listen.
See? Listen.
Thank you very much. Also, we have with us all the way from Boston, Chelsea, to be exact, our friend Angel Arieta. Thanks for being here.
It's my pleasure to be here, Pastor.
You just, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but I know that, I mean, people go through this, and I'm starting to understand. I'm just starting to understand this. You lost a pet that's been a part of your life for a long time. How many years?
I was going to be 14 years in May, I believe it was.
14
Yes,
years with
14
a
years.
dog.
Yes.
And just passed. And I'll be honest, when I heard the way your family was reacting to the loss, see, I'd never had a pet. I'd never been an animal lover, so I'm kind of like, they're going this, they're feeling this bad about a dog. It's a dog, you know. But then the more I got to hear from people that were connected to you guys, and people that were connected to even the dog, and people that have lost pets, I really came to understand, geez, they really do become one of the family.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they do.
My cousins lost their pets. It was devastating. Remember Max, little...
Oh, got run over by the truck. One of the happiest days of my life. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Max was...
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I hated that dog. Oh, I'm sorry.
Did my family
Oh, I'm
mourn?
sorry. I'm sorry.
Your nephews...
I'm being insensitive. No, but that dog warred with
Somebody
me every
needs
time.
prayer right now. Somebody needs prayer right now.
Lord,
The truth is,
Father,
listen to me.
God.
Every time I went into their house, that dog went.
No. I was
And I would
attacked.
bark at it.
Freak. I had to cut that dog's hair one time.
No, you didn't.
They gave him like 4 shots. That dog would still bite. But my family cried so much when that dog was
They
gone.
did.
And they tried to
did.
replace it, and they couldn't find a replacement.
Yeah.
You can't
There's
replace
no
it.
replacing.
No,
Hey.
no.
It's like trying to replace a child. It's
Listen.
not. Now I'm starting to get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was,
I had a little puppy with his eyes closed, and then he became a big German Shepherd. We had to give him away. It was devastating. Devastating.
yeah. I was there when she took her last breath. So I was talking
Oh,
to minister.
man. Come on.
Oh, God.
My
All
wife.
the animal lovers are going,
That is.
It was heart wrenching.
this
I
guy
mean,
cries the ugliest.
Very true.
But you, hold on. You're telling me that you were with the dog, you're holding the dog?
no, we had her in our home as like hospice. We had
Yeah.
her inside a playpen, and we were giving her medicine. And actually, she was due for her medicine at 9 o'clock. And she started coughing, and she coughed twice, and then coughed the last time, and that was her last breath. But I knew she was gonna go, and but I was just asking the Lord to take her because she was suffering.
Yeah.
And I thank God that none of the girls, my daughters or my wife, were there
To see it, that would have
to
broken
see
their
her.
heart.
Yeah, it would have definitely devastated them, and it scarred me.
Yeah.
For a couple days. I mean, I still see it, and then, it's like replaying a video of that last moment.
It becomes so much a part of you.
Oh yeah, I didn't. I've heard of people that lost pets, and they've mourned and this, that, the other, and I was like, are you kidding me? What?
It's an animal.
Come
That was
on.
my attitude until this happened.
But it wasn't like an extension of our family.
Yeah.
A child,
Yeah, it
14
does.
years is, it's a long time.
That dog had character, though.
Oh yeah,
It had personality. Because when I met it was in the twilight years,
yes.
right? And
Yes.
she was just kind of walking into the room blind, right? She
Well,
didn't see too well.
She still saw you. She saw your personality.
She smelled your personality.
She would always walk around with her tongue hanging out because she was born with her tooth. She had a problem with her tooth. Her tongue was always sticking out.
Cute dog.
And when I talk about
dog,
personality,
you
when she
sound
saw the pastor, her tongue went right in her mouth. Right? So she was like, Pastor.
They even told me it walked sideways. That's what they told
It
me.
kind of did. It kind of did. I thought.
Well, she was deaf. She was deaf, and she had
Tito, man.
what was it? Arthritis.
Oh,
She had arthritis. So she was old, and you hear a lot of all these illnesses that adults have, and you
Dogs
don't think
have it too?
that dogs have it, but they do.
Yeah.
And she ended up dying because of congestive heart failure.
Really?
Yep, that was the ultimate thing.
Of
that,
age, then? Natural? Is it
No,
what kind
congestive heart failure is fluid that fill into your lungs, and then it just fills in, and it pushed on her trachea, and it pushed against her
can't
heart
breathe.
and everything, and she literally drowned internally.
Oh, that's worse.
Yeah, so it was.
Everybody changed the channel already. Come back. Come back. It's brutal. Ouch. Oh,
You brought it up. You
no,
brought it
I
up.
know. I'm so sad
Oh,
now.
those people that
dog.
love animals are gonna be so sad.
That's so ugly.
But the truth is, it's part of life, and losing pets, losing friends, family. I didn't understand losing a pet. I know what loss feels like, and when I was praying one morning, I just got into my spirit. Loss is loss. When you love something and you lose it, it's just painful. So, I mean, people must be able to empathize and understand what we're talking about. If you've lost something like this, you know what it's talking about. It's not easy to bounce back from that. But thank God that you guys are back. Family seems strong, and everybody's going to be all right. We're going to be all right after on the other side of this short break. We're going to begin our conversation for the day. Hope TV, stay tuned. Back to Hope TV. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today's conversation is going to be about discipleship. It's a theme that one would think that it's specific to church, but it really isn't. You have mentors and apprentices. The idea of disciples have been around long before Jesus, and Jesus truly turned it into what we now know as government. And most of the New World countries are formed from Judeo-Christian values and the structure and the philosophy of Jesus Christ. So this idea of taking someone and developing them is only good if the person doing the developing has gone through it himself. Discipleship starts with the teacher. And most people don't, that's not where most people start. Most people just want to start learning, and so they just start learning from anyone. So my first point for you today, and guys, let's discuss that. What happens when you are an apprentice to the fourth best mechanic in the shop, in the city? What does that mean for you?
That means you got a lot of business coming your way.
No, you're the apprentice of the fourth best.
I mean, fourth best.
Don't you want to be with the guy that's the best?
But I mean, you're still an apprentice.
Right. But by choosing someone,
I'd rather choose the best.
I completely missed that.
Number
Oh
one.
my God.
The fourth is not the best.
The fourth is not the.
The first.
Wow.
The first is the best.
Go
ahead.
That's good. That's
Discipleship.
Was
Bring it
that
back.
like a blonde moment?
I don't know if he's blonde.
that was
A streak of blonde.
that was a streaker, right?
Yeah.
Woo, that was way
idea.
over his head.
I was like, yeah, fourth best.
Yeah, that's okay, man.
I don't want the fourth best.
The idea being that
wants the fourth best.
if you want to find someone that's going to teach you, you want to find someone that knows the material, that knows the subject matter, and has the scars of life that can say, look, I've been through it. You know, you don't really want to learn from someone that's never done it. Someone that knows it in theory but doesn't know it in life is really good. A lot of people would argue that's what happens with government. We put people that are smart in government book smart, but have never really done it in the real world, and that's when we get into trouble. But when it comes to the church, we'll find these folks that have not gone through a process call themselves elders, deacons, leaders,
Prophet,
pastors,
FIT.
apostles, teachers, and all of a sudden they are building a generation of people that don't have much hope because they're the sensei, they're the master, they're the teacher, and I say that with great respect and humility because I'm blessed to have guys like these that the Lord has put me in their lives. I'm not perfect, far from it. I don't think you need to be perfect to be a good teacher, but I think you need to be transparent. You need to have good character, and you need to have a good moral compass.
You also need to be willing to learn because.
No, we're talking from the teacher side.
Oh, okay. All right.
We'll get to that in a second. We'll come back to that.
We'll come back to that.
But from the teacher side, I mean, you really want somebody that as far as I'm concerned, when my father left from Florida when he retired, I was pastoring, and I felt like I didn't have a pastor myself. I didn't have a covering, and it was almost accidental that I ran into Bishop Eliud in Foxworth.
Yes.
I didn't know him from Adam. I was invited to preach in his church. I didn't even know him, and I preached in his church. And the Lord blessed. Boy, it was a great service. And then so after I preached, he asked me back to meet him, and I preached again, and from there. We went through about 4 years of getting to know each other.
Yeah.
Before I became his disciple, before I became, went under his, about 3 or 4 years, where I just went to have lunch with him. I went, Valerie and I stayed at his house, and we just got to know him, and I got to know his character. I got to know not the pulpit side of him, because that was impressive, but I wanted to know the man. Who are you?
It was impressive those years because being under the ministry and seeing you going through that stage from having to always be there every Sunday with your father.
Yeah.
I mean, this man would always be with his father on Sunday.
My dad, yeah.
Yeah. And from that suddenly just stopped and having to look for somebody. Those years were
tough.
They were tough. And then,
and if you remember, I was very reluctant to disciple people personally in that season of my life.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have someone working on me.
Right.
And Bishop came. I felt it was irresponsible, and I think that's a real good point. Thanks for bringing that up. Actually, I forgot about that. While I had no one working on me, I preached.
Yeah.
I was preaching the gospel. I was teaching, but I wasn't personally discipling people because I was afraid. There was no one for me to be accountable to. No one to teach me.
Nobody chiseling on you.
And I'm scared of people. I'm scared of teachers.
How did you meet with Bishop?
Well, I preached at his church. Then I went
before that. How was the connection?
No, a friend of mine, Leroy.
Okay.
He was a musician at the church. He saw me at a Spanish restaurant, merengues.
Okay.
I was eating with Dr. Roberto Miranda, one of my other mentors in Boston, and we're having lunch there. And Leroy was walking out, and he was with my friend Mike Wheeler.
Okay.
And he says, "Hey, that's Herson Gonzalez." Yeah, and so he invited me to preach.
Okay.
So I didn't meet Bishop directly.
Okay.
It was, really, it was,
Yeah.
It was the Lord that kind of worked
God
it out.
really-
Divine appointment.
God knew
that's
knew that
amazing.
you needed something, and that you was feeling that you needed someone. You was missing that.
I did. I mean, I still have my father. Thank God he's alive. He's 72 and he's still strong, but he's in Florida.
Yeah.
I needed someone in my life here, and when I found him, and when I realized he was the one, Valerie and I had a lot of conversations about it. And I remember the conversation. We were at a restaurant in Quincy, and I just looked at him and I says, "Man, you're my dad," and I saw his eyes got crystally,
Wow.
and it was a moment where we just kind of looked. We were in a public restaurant, and I wanted to hug him, but I thought it'd be weird, and so we just kind of looked at each other, and he says, "You're my son," and from then on I call him Pop, and he calls me son. But after that, it took us several years. I've been with Bishop now for maybe 2-3 years as a son, and now I'm starting discipleship again.
Thank you, because
Thank you.
Yeah,
We need it.
we're actually seeing the fruit of that. I mean,
yeah.
our church has gone from membership mentality to discipleship mentality.
Yeah.
And thanks to
Bishop.
your discipleship of Bishop, I mean, we're seeing we're seeing growth happen. I mean, it's not this huge leaps and bounds, but this great, steady, progressive growth. We have our Timothy's class. We have, you know, our care groups happening, and it's just been awesome.
Amazing.
Right. And it's so interesting that by the way, we didn't have a real serious structure on how this class was this show was going to go, but it's amazing how the Lord just works it out. It really starts at the person that's doing the discipling. What was his process like?
Yeah.
Right.
What did Valerie go through? Boy, I wish she was here to talk about it, about the things that she had to go through and the people that have been in her life to form her and teach her so that we could become the kind of people that can take time, invest in people's lives, and become that mentor, that pastor, that father figure spiritually for folks that I think, I mean, when I look at the people in my church, I mean, I know that you probably have a great church, but I feel like I have an all-star team sitting in my congregation. I really do have that. I think I have the absolute best as far as potential and what we're going to be able to do. But tell folks what I feel about potential.
You better have a problem with potential. If someone is saying that you have potential
For a real long time, they
for a
shouldn't.
real long time, you know, when someone says, "Oh, you have the potential," that means you're not actually what
Camera
you.
two there, buddy.
Oh, you're not actually that person.
Follow the light.
The light. So I mean, they used to say that to me. Oh, you have potential to become a great rapper,
Right.
a great preacher, and as long as I accepted potential, I would never become
Yeah.
that what I desired to be. So
That's good.
potential is good for a little time, but you should have a personal problem when they keep saying to you after so many years, you have potential.
Yeah. In the end, you know, when I took my ministry serious, because everybody kept telling me that I had all this potential, and I said, well, geez, let's find out.
Yeah.
If I do have all this potential, let's put it to work and let's see. And now we're 10 years in it. You know, and I thought we'd be much further ahead than what we are now. But I know that it's not the church's fault. It's my process. What God has been doing in me, it's a direct reflection on what our church is like. And now that we're getting to where I feel like year 10 is going to be a phenomenal year.
It's amazing right now.
You know,
It's just
because we're really taking discipleship seriously. We were looking at the membership model, and membership model frustrates.
Yeah.
It frustrates the church, and it frustrates leadership. Because if you only have membership mentality, then when you're a member, you feel like you have ownership. If you own it, then you don't have to do it. There's plenty of people, and you get that, you kind of get the social club.
That's exactly what I was going. Yeah, it
Mentality.
becomes like a social. Everybody thinks of it as a social club versus the house of worship. You know what I mean?
Right. And so when you have a bunch of members, it frustrates because the pastor wants more commitment from the members. The members wants more attention because they want to grow, but there's only one pastor or two pastors, and there's all these people. So how do these two pastors mentor and disciple all of these people? So in membership, even though we were heavy in ministry, and we wanted people to be a part of women's ministry, men's ministry, children's ministry, youth ministry, young adults ministry, and so we had these ministries working, trying to disciple all these people, and it just wasn't working. And I tried it for 9 years, and I'm just saying for us, it didn't work. So we're making the shift, and we played with the idea of cell groups before, but we never committed to it. Because small groups, I feel, is the best forum, conversations like this, where you're sitting
on the table.
Yeah, because when I'm preaching, you can't talk back and ask a question. But if
more
we're sitting
intimate.
here,
It's more intimate.
yeah, this is intimate.
Yep.
And Jesus Christ, when he taught, he explained what he preached.
Yeah.
When he was preaching to the crowd, people left confused, including the disciples. But when he sat with his disciples, he explained what he taught. And I
More
think
personal.
more personal.
right.
And the teaching was richer, deeper.
Yep.
I've been reading a book about Charles Finney. It's really important to see that we're gone.
Yeah.
We're gone.
Finish your thought.
Finish my thought. Charles Finney, you know, he would preach at these meetings, and he's called the great revivalist of one of our times. But he would, after these meetings, go and have intimate time with the people that he preached to.
Wow.
And this is how revival really started. It wasn't so much that he was preaching on the pulpit, but he was going to these meetings at people's houses, and care groups right now, and small groups, and I think that's the way that this is what discipleship is.
Right, and we're doing it we have some in Rhode Island, where we have some in Boston area, and we're going to be opening some soon in different areas, but we have these open and they're available to you. If you want to experience what we're talking about, We meet in Boston. If you want our information, the number is, and the information is right on the screen. It's it's actually Cristo el Rey on Facebook. Reach out to us there, and you'll be able to get to us. If you're in the Rhode Island area, the church is Calvary Worship Center, and you definitely want to reach us at Calvary Worship Center on Facebook or cwcri.com. Send us a message, and we will definitely get back to you as far as what we're going to do to get you into one of our groups. It's not enough to be a member of a church. Membership doesn't produce the change that we need.
Definitely not.
You really need someone to be in your life, teaching you the Word of God very intensely, and becoming a bigger part of your life. That's how I feel. That's what we're doing, and we've just started it, but I already see the change in us.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's an impact. The Word is, I've studied the Word so many times. I did 3 years of study it here, there, whatever. And I was telling my wife that it hasn't been nothing like what I'm learning now. Nothing. It's amazing. The insight, and it's like when you grab an orange and you peel it and you get to the inside and grab a piece of the orange and you start eating it and enjoying it. That's what I'm doing now with the Word. It's amazing.
It's great.
Maybe want an orange.
I'm gonna start taking notes off Angel so I can write my next sermon.
And the Bible right next to me. Oh, that's good.
Well, listen, folks, we're out of time. Can you believe that's it? We're done.
We just when it started to get juicy,
We
right?
just started talking. By the way, it always gets good. We gotta get Angel back, right?
Get Angel back.
Whenever Angel's on, he's
When he took off the coat, the anointing came over him.
We need to get him
The Red Sox coat off.
Well, thank you so much for watching Hope TV. Once again, Valerie, we miss you. We love you. And for all of you that watch faithfully, thank you so much. Send us a message. Send us a note on our Hope TV page on Facebook or on our YouTube page. We want to hear from you. God bless you. We'll see you next time.
God bless.